took an onboarding document that they had been working with, and it was a PowerPoint slide, and she put it into a report. And then from the PowerPoint slide, she pointed out different elements in the report. It's a internal training exercise. And so she was, this is the content, this is the table of contents, and your actions button is up here. It was all really cool. I thought PowerPoint's now, inside and working around our stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of options there. If you want to get kind of zany, you can go out there and have fun.
Hey, Richard, I'd like you to know, usually I start exactly at 12:58. But then I play the music and I go look at something else while we're going. Today it was more of like, oh crap, I need to get in there. So we just started right away. I'm being judged by the peanut gallery, everyone.
That's normal as well.
Although Hermite never really speaks up. You need to do that sometime, and you know that you're, actually listening there, buddy. he's always silent in the background. All right, what is it? This is April, May, June. Oh yeah. So I have forgotten to do the new multitasking. I'm gonna start slipping in like, hey, free bottle of whiskey for somebody who says yes right now.
Yep.
Force people to like all you multitaskers to be like, all right. And where was I at here? I have not been pushing out the newsletter the last 2 weeks. Oh, well, I can get you some water. Some nice Colorado water, fresh spring, right from the source. So what we do is we always send out our newsletter by hand. And the problem with that is if we're busy, we tend to forget. Like, it's not an automated newsletter. We actually type it by hand. So the last 2 weeks, Skip's like, did we forget again this week? I'm like, yes.
Well, I remembered last week. It was just late.
Okay.
So it went out last week, but
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
And so the community update tends to be less well attended when we forget to put out the newsletter. And then I also forget what are we talking about. So this week actually is project road mapping, which actually shifted quite a bit because of the tool has evolved. So one of the things that we used to talk about, I'm looking at the bulleted points for week 4 of June, is that tactical versus strategic project management. And this is a kind of it's always been a big topic in the MSP industry is, what's the difference between tactical and strategic? When most MSPs, when I watch you guys do your project management, when I see you do planning, you're all thinking tactical, which is good. You have to think tactical. A tactical idea is like, what's going on in the battlefield right now? I need to replace this server in 6 months. That's a tactical thing. That is not a strategic item. If I need to replace this PC, I need to patch these servers. These are all tactics, and finding wiser ways and more streamlined ways to do that is all tactical, and it's extremely important. It should not be disregarded. Strategic thinking moves up a level. So strategic says, hey, in 6 months, we're going to replace a server. However, do we need to?
Yep.
Should we migrate that to the cloud? Should we merge servers? Should we make it a VM? Even then, you're still kind of like borderline tactical. Like, you're still a little bit level. It's like the 5,000 foot level. The strategic portion says, what business solution is this solving?
There we go.
Do we need to realign? Is there a better way to do this as it supports the business? And then that will drive the tactical thought. Do we want to be on-prem? Do we need to be in the cloud? There was a big argument on if you want to blow up an IT forum, there was one guy who said on-prem Exchange is the best solution.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You can almost feel the rage of people like responding. And then like, a lot of people like, oh, no, I need full control. Other people like, no. And like, it blew up. I'll have to look at the thread and see what it's up to now. It was like up to like 400 or something like that.
Wow.
People just arguing and very passionate. That's all tactics.
Yes.
No one was
And here's
no one
this
was
is
the reason they were arguing is because there's a strategic decision, an assumption up above
yes.
that one is better than the other. And well, it depends on the strategy.
Yeah.
The tactical strategy is dependent on the high level strategy. So when you do a tactical thought, you're making an assumption that the strategy hasn't changed.
Yep.
Skip, you're gonna say
Well,
something?
and this is that tactical element is more centered around planning. So, I know not all of us, but many of us had at least a time, or a lot of IT managers have come from the corporate world. All right. And you can be a fairly senior manager, even in IT in the corporate world, and still have nothing to do with the corporation's strategy.
Correct.
And because that strategy is set above. And so your responsibilities are about effectively managing timelines, and how you're going to spend money along the way. And so that nucleus of responsibilities and objectives has, for whatever reason, I think overcome our view in an MSP world, where we think that I'm being strategic because I'm planning out 6, 12, or 18 months. That is not strategic. Right? Just because you plan it doesn't make it strategic. To be strategic, there's 2 criteria that you can quickly throw against something to define whether it's strategic. Does it help the organization be more successful at their core skills? All right, their core product, is what you do going to impact how well that organization runs? And 2, is it going to mitigate any sort of specific risk? All right, when you say, hey, I'm going to deploy a malware solution so you don't get viruses, okay, that's still tactical. All right, if you want security initiatives to truly be strategic, you need to identify and understand the core business elements that are going to be affected by that.
Yep.
So, and that's not always a productive process to go through. Right? So, I don't want to set a false expectation that everything has to have this strategic initiative. There are times when it's like, hey, you need antivirus because you don't want to get computer viruses. All right. We don't need a strategic initiative on that one. That's become a common knowledge, and we don't have to go down that road. But for a subset of the items that are on your roadmap, you need to be looking for the strategic initiative there. Why? Why are we going to do this? And if you can do that, then that drastically changes how you run your roadmap with your clients.
Yes. It changes your mindset in how you do pretty much everything. And when you're running your MSP, to how you treat your clients, when you switch that mentality of these are both important. Don't think that tactical is more important than strategy. It's not. It's a yes and. You need both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hermine, strategic planning is difficult with all the fluidity in the economy, technology, workforce. It is difficult, but that's also why you're running a company. Like, it's part of the hat. Like,
Yeah.
this year I had great plans when it came to sales, right? I had forecasted out. I did my strategy for 2023. It was a solid, very pragmatic strategy for how we were going to do 2023. And then, we had the whispers of a recession. And then we had the recession actually kind of like creep up on us. And then we had to freeze things because the debt ceiling needed to be raised for the government. And this caused a lot of apprehension in the workplace. I didn't see that, but I was able to tactically adapt to that and then redo my strategy to adjust it based upon what I saw. And so yes, strategic planning is hard. It's not
It
an
is.
easy thing. And
It is.
that's why you need people who are experienced in the industry, or you yourself need to help your clients at that level because they don't understand. I was working in the IT department about 10 years ago, and they said it was impossible to create an IT budget. Couldn't be done. Technology changes too fast. I said, well, you know what? That was true maybe around 2007. But in like 2013, things had kind of standardized. We weren't coming out with a new Pentium processor every 6 months.
Yeah.
We weren't coming out with a new chipset that was going to revolutionize everything. I mean, Cisco did pull the wool over our eyes in 2010, but that they did the little switcheroo with SDN, but that was like at a high level. I mean, it still didn't affect you for 7 years. And so dog ate my homework. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I know. You were taking a nap, Mike. Anyways, that's where strategy comes in. Strategy says, as an MSP, do you do anything other than hardware? Do you do software? Do you do software design? Strategy says, are you going to be a dog kennel? And you'd be, of course, I'm not going to. Now, there are people in this group that don't do hardware.
Yep.
Period. They just do licensing. There are people in this group who do everything. There are people in this group who just serve primarily medical offices. That's okay. But that was a strategic item that they decided on. Strategy is slower. It's methodical. Tactical moves fast. It's not as fast as operational where you're running, but tactical things. Okay, here I'm thinking 3 moves ahead in chess. Strategic says, what game am I playing? Am I playing chess? Am I playing checkers? Am I playing Stratego?
Yeah.
That's strategy. And if you go into if you get into chess, I don't know if any chess players here, but there are multiple types of strategies in chess. You can play chess just fine without using one of the standardized strategies and different openings and different maneuvers. You can work chess just fine and have a great time playing it. But if you play against somebody who knows the strategic moves, you're going to have a way harder time of it.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking 16 moves ahead. They are plotting against you on a level that you are not even considering. And so that's how chess is played. If you play against me in like Risk or a strategy game, I guarantee you I'm not thinking about my next turn. I'm thinking about your next turn and your next 5 turns, as well as my next 5 turns.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, how am I going to pressure you to do what I want you to do so that you can affect somebody else on the board? 'Cause I'm thinking about their next 5 turns.
Yeah. Make someone else work for you.
Strategy. Then I will completely mess up on the tactics and move my guy in the wrong way. And so you need both.
Well, let me comment on the fluidity. I think there's an important element there in that, yes, technology specifically is, incredibly fluid, and there are a lot of changes. The cool part about the strategic planning is there is a longer life cycle to the product that we get out of those. Because when we identify objectives, we may be able to meet them sooner. They may be long-term. But if we understand what an organization needs, if we understand pain points or things that will make their business better, then as the technology goes along, we can marry those up. All right. We may say, hey, we've got a solution that can fix this problem, with your revenue. All right. Whatever it is. And the client looks at it and goes, that's kind of expensive. I don't think the expense would actually, pay out in the long term. So let's push that. Okay, that's fine. And then an evolution in technology changes the environment, and we're able to come back and go, hey, now we can do it more effectively and to a greater extent. So we've been maximize the goals. So see, strategy and technology as separate elements, and the things that pop up in the technology area are going to cycle quickly. All right. But the strategy elements will be much slower moving and allow you to adapt.
And here's where it comes into play. So why this is going to help you run your MSP today. You need to come up with a strategy so you can empower your employees and you can empower your clients. When they know where the ship is going, they can do their jobs better. And then it takes things off of your shoulders. So you say, hey, you know what? We are going to move everyone out to the cloud, or we're going to upgrade everyone to this licensing before 2024. Okay, everybody knows that is the strategic objective, that we are going to, as a company, not support on-prem solutions anymore. If somebody insists on an on-prem solution, we're going to shift them over to another company because we are going to be 100% cloud-based MSP. That is your strategic decision. Now your employees know, hey, this is where we're going. That gives them permission to come up with strategies around this as well. Now that they know where you're going, they can take that off your shoulders. This is how, like when you're playing chess and you're playing with strategic moves and you're using different openings, I don't have to think about the 16 moves that this strategy takes. I just know that I'm going to start down this road. And then my mind is free to think of other things. So you, as the leader of your company, you set a strategy, you inform your clients on how to do that. Now, if you're a MSP owner who thinks tactically all the time, that's really busy. You really have to think that through because you're involved in every decision that your MSP makes. And that's exhausting. And I think some of you are probably nodding along right now. This is
Yeah.
why you're exhausted. This is why you're constantly on the road and you're constantly in front of clients because you're thinking tactically. Move up to strategic and tactic at the same time. Think about both of them, divide them up, divide your persona, and then start delegating and watching as your employees start taking over the tactics for you, and trust them to do it and trust them to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But that's strategic versus tactical planning. And what that does is the third point on this is how to get out of the way. Is that once you set the strategy, like, hey, we're going to do this, and you let your 3 engineers or your 10 engineers or however big you guys are, when you let your employees know, they can then take over the tactics. So let them look at that project roadmap in our tool or whatever. If you're using some kind of Gantt chart or you're using Trello or whatever you're doing for project planning, now you're able to watch them move things around and plan out their days. When are they going to do this server? When are they going to do this migration? When can they get things done? And then you just hold them accountable to the plan. That's your only job. That's how you get away with engineers. Then they find their own way, what works for them, what doesn't, because they're each individual people. And then you can mentor them on, hey, I see that you're overwhelmed. You haven't put any projects into June, which means that all these projects are going to come up to you in July. And so you want to be able to have these conversations so you can delegate. Even if you're like a 1 to 2 man shop today, you still need to build these practices out where you're thinking strategically where you're going. And you say, you write on the whiteboard, I'm going to be here at the end of the year. And then you can operate tactically for the rest of the year. And when you hire that next person to come in, they can see what the strategy is and they can align themselves to it.
Yep.
And eventually you start understanding what areas you don't like to work in and you know who to hire. Hey, in order for me to reach my sales goal this year, I, Adam Walter, and Skip looked at our table and said, we need more sales engineers.
Yep.
We need to be here. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. Or I said, I'm not going to make it. We're not going to accelerate like we want to.
Right. Yeah.
And so, man, I really used the wrong words there. So we're not going to make our goal. So or I see an opportunity to exceed our goal like we are right now. I see an opportunity to accelerate beyond our predictions for the year because of some opportunities that came up. And so now I'm free to think about those things and accelerate. And now that I'm accelerating, I can delegate out. And so that's why we trust each other to follow the plan. I think one time I had a large corporation, the COO said, best set of advice you can give anybody is run the called play, so that everybody is on together. You may disagree with the called play, but run it.
Yes.
And then if you need to adjust it later, come up with a plan again as a team. So to that end, right now, for everyone who wants to know, we're going through a really cool funding round. We had a number of investors locally here in Lincoln, Nebraska, actually approach me and say, hey, we are looking for tech companies to invest in. And I thought, is there an opportunity there? And I said, yes, I want to accelerate sales. Lots of people are interested in what we're doing. Mike, you were at IT Nation Secure with us 2 weeks ago. You saw it. People are interested in our product, what it's
nonstop.
Nonstop. I run out of breath and I'm out of words. Adam Walter is out of words by the end. That's saying something.
That's a lot.
And so the idea is that, okay, what if we had other people that could do these sales processes for us? How much would that cost? How much money do I need to raise to make this effective? Yeah. it was amazing to see the parade of people looking at the platform. Ride the unicorn. Do we need to get a like
Oh,
a
don't tempt us,
mechanical
Mike.
ball?
We want to do the mechanical bull, but replace it with a unicorn.
Yeah,
We already had the idea. I don't think Adam was signing off on that one, but
not yet,
that
not
was,
yet. There seems to be a liability portion to that.
I keep telling you, we just put a big yellow tennis ball on the unicorn horn and call it good.
Anyways, so we're on Shark Tank Nebraska. Actually, I hosted a Shark Tank Nebraska a number of years ago. A little known fact. We had a great venue for it. Anyways, we have some really cool investment groups in Nebraska, and they're really big on growing tech in Nebraska and growing different companies in Nebraska. And since we have an established product that we are completely private still. And so we have no outside investors. And they're like, well, we'd be willing to come in. And they gave me some numbers. I'm like, that's really cool. And so we're actually doing the pitch tomorrow. So if anybody wants to be really great to Humanize IT right now and be a fantastic partner, we're running a gimmick. And we will never do this again. I promise you. I need to pump my numbers by June 30th. And so if you know people who would benefit from this product, we are doing a year-long discount that new customers get coming in. And it is crazy. We're waiving the onboarding and giving a discount because what we want to do is we need people to buy now. So when I walk into the investors for the final meeting on July 11th, that we look as amazing as possible. So I want to be able to say that we came out of IT Nation. We came out of all of these conferences earlier this year. Look what we did with no salespeople. Imagine what we could do if we had salespeople. Yep. We have a salesperson right now. And then it's Skip and I pretending to be a salesperson. Anybody who's been on a sales call with us, most of you have. Yes. We brought you on.
Pretender.
Imagine if we actually had somebody who understood sales and was good at it. And so that's the pitch. And so if you guys can, if you want to reach out to us, if you look on our pricing page right now, the offer is up there and it is live. Get people in. I'm happy to, if you want to bribe, let me know. I want to eke out every single new member I can over this week and a half to show the investors that, hey, look, we're really cool. Give us more money. And the more money we get, the more cool things we can do with you guys. So that's my honest pitch to the group here. We've got a fair amount of people in here, and a lot of you have a lot of friends who are in MSPs. If you have evolve groups, I know some of you are in evolve groups. If you have peers, today is the day. Well, the next 7 days is the time to commit.
There's a ticking timer on that. I made sure I enabled that in the code.
But it goes all the way through the next 12 months, and you get Skip's time for free. So we won't do this again. This isn't our usual sales gimmick of buy now, get 50% off. This is hey, we're trying to pump our numbers.
Yeah.
Wink, come in, join us, and be along for the ride. So the other cool thing this means is that one way or another, we will have the investment dollars by the end of July, which means that we're going to be taking input from you guys as to what projects we need to work on next. Things like a meeting tool that runs your meetings for you. Or Skip's big pet project is the CES, upgrading it. Or Skip's thing he's been nudging me for a long time on is setting rocks, company goals that you can align your projects to. So you say, hey, if you do these 5 projects, it solves this problem for your business. And so there's some cool.
I got an idea for a whole new module, on business goals.
So module on business goals, automatically aligning business goals. So that's my plea to you guys as members. If you love our product, now is the time to refer your friends. If you want to say, hey, for every friend I bring in, I get a bottle of whiskey, I will send you a bottle of whiskey for every person that comes in. For those of you who don't drink, I will send you an Amazon gift card. I don't know. You tell me. We're doing really well on membership. We've been increasing. What I want to do is I want to show a burst, because that shows investors that, holy crap, I need to get in now, and I want to give you more. And so that's the name of the game. I don't know if any of you ever been on a investment board before, if you've ever done a pitch for investors. It is an interesting ride, especially in the tech arena, because of the multipliers your guys' companies have, especially in software. So anyways, let me know how we can help, how we can be, let me know if you guys are interested in being a part of that, growing, referring us out. Send me an email, and I will make a deal with you. But check out our pricing page, get people in. We're super excited about this opportunity. And yeah, tomorrow at 9 a.m., send positive thoughts our way.
Thanks, Mike.
Any other thoughts there, Skip?
No, it is really exciting. And I would encourage you to take a little time to poke around some of the new features.
Oh yeah.
Some of them are small, some of them obviously bigger, but and give yourself 30 minutes, 20 minutes even, just to think a little creatively about how some of these new elements can shape your QBRs going forward. I know some of you get in a groove, like, hey, this is working, we're just going to roll with it. All right. And that is a productive path to go down. All right. But recognize that there may be some opportunities out there to make that a bit more effective. And reach out to me if you got any questions or want to brainstorm on those. Like I said, lots of really cool things. Back to our chatting at the beginning of the deal. There's, if you want to get all goofy, you can actually, shoehorn PowerPoint. Well, it's not shoehorning. You can actually just drop PowerPoint slides in and do crazy stuff like that. So there's just lots of options.
For you, Richard, the list of new features comes out in the newsletter every week. It may be handy to see for us to put a change log out on a web page. On June this happened, on May this happened. So we have our different change logs that we post in the newsletter every week. But I think you're right. Maybe we need to do a change log on the web page. We just copy and paste our change log every month. But I mean, the major thing that you need to know about when we publish the next newsletter, God only knows.
No,
no. I promise I will have it done on Monday. I completely have been. I mean, this has been a crazy last 8 weeks.
Yep.
So, but let me. Hold on. Let me get the link here. I need to put this on the website actually, Skip.
All right.
app.managedservicesplatform.com.
And it would be what exactly? You have a change log already?
Maybe.
Oh.
No. We have done a terrible job of communicating this to you all.
Yes.
This has been my fault.
Yeah.
I should have just done a webinar on how to do this, guys. This is a major, 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 major thing. A lot of you are going to be able to look at this and say, holy crap, the things I can do with this. You can do lead gen marketing collateral with it. You can help your clients. You basically take that link we just posted in chat down there, and that is your client portal. Any persona you have shared with a client will be aggregated there. So they can click, you can create a tool on your web page, and you can click on that, and your client, if you have ever shared with them a persona, it'll list it there for them. And it's SSO, so you don't have to create them a login. You just have to share a persona or a dashboard with them, and it'll show up in their client portal. So if you've got a budget persona you built for them, so they know where the budget's going to be. If they've got a project, maybe you have a really complicated Chromebook deployment, and you filtered out all of the opportunities, all of the assets, so it just shows the cost of the Chromebook project. You created that portal for them. When they click on that link, they're going to be able to log in and see everything you shared with them. You now have a client portal. If you're using managed services platform, if you're using Humanize IT, you have a client portal. It'll show people where their tickets are. You build it for them. You change it. Any of your opportunities, any of your assets you sync, anything you put in there will be shared with them. And there's a ton of potential on what you can put in there, even PowerPoint slides. If you want any more information on how to use that, reach out.
Absolutely.
And that is a huge deal. For those of you who have wanted a client portal, there it is. We built that right before IT Nation, and we did a bad job of telling everybody it was available. Dead silence from the peanut gallery.
Yeah, they're all hitting the link.
Y'all hitting the link. They're in shock and awe.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Thanks,
reach
Mike.
out. There is a cool lead gen opportunity with that client portal. You can send and you can create client portals for people who are not your customers. So if you mark them as a lead in the client area, you can actually create a little portal for them for like a pre-assessment and send it to them. Like they can see how they compare against other clients in their area. There's a really cool item there. So you immediately get a pre-assessment without having to walk in the door. So, well, then email me, Richard. We'll work out some time. Typing from scratch. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I will get a newsletter out on Monday. I'll see if I can get like a little bit more of a comprehensive changelog of the last quarter put in there. Feel free to refer people if you want to come up with a referral program with us. Send me an email, and I'm happy to put you on as a whiskey of the month club guy. Thank you, everyone, and good luck with your project planning. Understand this is the last week of the first half of the year. As of next week, we are closer to Christmas than we are to the new year.
There you go.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Later, everyone.